还不够，还不够，真就是！哇，中国人最高的，接下来邀请下一环节。
接下来在赛道上将要进行的是女子500米A组的较量。发言人。
Representing Japan.
一组内道日本。外道挪威。Go to the start. Red. 比赛开始，女子500米 A 组的第一组两位选手，看一下第一个100米的分别时点，这里讲是10秒84，总分是10秒71。来到200米，陈佳子，弯道线直道，但是最后有位选手上分，看一下最后谁先来表演陈佳子把优势放到最后。看看这个第二组内道韩国。外道奥地利。
Tier 8, Innerway, representing Poland.
第8组内道波兰。
Angelika Holczyk. Outer Lane, representing Korea.
外道韩国。
Kim In-soon.
And away we go in pair number 8. Wojcik and Kim. Jutta Leerdam, 37.89. Suzanne Schulting, 37.98. The two sub-38s over the first 7 pairs. 10:41, fastest opener we've seen from anybody. Wojcik comes out hot. And now the crossover, she'll finish in the outer. Kim Min-sun finished bronze right behind Wojcik last Friday. Match race down the stretch. Wojcik still edging ahead. She will beat Kim in the pair, but fall back to 38 flats. And that's good for third. Unable to take down Leerdam or Schulting. So the quickest opener belonged to Wojcik, but unable to finish it off. So still Leerdam and Schulting sitting 1-2. Wojcik 38.00, Kim 38.09. So Jutta Leerdam still on top, 2 pair remaining. And we will see 2 of the 3 podium finishers on Sunday matching up here. Kimmy Getz of the United States took bronze on Sunday, and Dion Voskamp, who earned her first ever World Cup medal last week, silver in the 500. As a matter of fact, Getz was sub-38 in each of her 2 races, Friday and Sunday in Nagano. And Voskamp was 37.84, about 0.3 off of her personal best. But she was the fastest opener in Sunday's race at 10.4. And a false start. Getz and Voskamp called back. And Voskamp, the culprit. Our starter, Bukai Takeshi. So a reset for Voskamp and Getz. Yukina Yoshida and Aaron Jackson, the 2 winners of the 500-meter races last weekend, on deck in the final pair. Getz was out in sub-10.6 in her openers last week. And again, Voskamp, 10.4. That was the fastest we saw of anybody last week. She's 10.37 this time. This will give Voskamp a real chance. She'll draft off of Getz, finish in the inner, and we'll see if Dion Voskamp can take it to the line. Getz on the left side of your screen. Leerdam's time, 37.89. And here comes Dion Voskamp, who earned her first ever World Cup individual medal last week. Can she grab the lead? No, by 1/100. Just slides off of the top. Jutta Leerdam's time still best. 37.90 despite the torrid opener by Voskamp. Just could not hold the speed down that final straight. But Voskamp right now in silver position with 1 pair remaining. Leerdam's 37.89 still to the good. Right now it is Netherlands, Netherlands, Netherlands. 1, 2, 3. Leerdam, Voskamp, Schulting. But now you have the two champions of the 500-meter last week in Nagano. Yukino Yoshida at a 37.74. Follow that with a 37.99. That Friday race was a personal best. And Erin Jackson, the reigning Olympic champion, struggled with her opener Friday and then tightened that up by 1600ths on Sunday. That led to a World Cup win in Nagano. She holds the track record here as well. Jackson just could not stop her momentum. The Blaze never stopped moving toward that start line. False start. Erin Jackson. Well, curious to see how Yoshida holds up after now a tremendous weekend last week in Nagano. Certainly now, right now, top of the table points-wise in the classification at 500, side by side with the Olympic champion. Clean start. Jackson on the left, Yoshida on the right. Those arms are pumping from Erin Jackson. We'll check the opener time. Jackson 10:39. Yoshida 10.46. That matches her fastest opener from last week. Jackson in excellent position. She'll draft, cross over to the inner. Can she maintain the speed on the way home? 37.89 Leardham's time. Jackson will swing out of the corner. She's trailing Yoshida. Yoshida coming to the line. Will she claim gold again? Yes! Yukino Yoshida wins gold again. Jackson fades to 6th. And Yoshida, who shocked everyone in the speed skating world last week when she won the opener in Nagano, her first ever gold, takes it again in Beijing. Another personal best for Yoshida, 37.68. Leardham silver, Voskamp on the podium again for bronze. And Erin Jackson, despite that torrid opener, finishes 6th at 38.08. Confidence growing race by race for Yukino Yoshida, who is proving she is no fluke in these first 3 500s of this World Cup season. Gold, 4th, and gold for Yoshida. Yoshida came home in 27.22. Jackson came home in 27.69. Again, Jackson's opener was 10:39. Yoshida 10:46, but a second gold for Yoshida, who was not on a podium at all in her career at the World Cup level until last week. And the official results: Yoshida on top for the second time in 3 500s this World Cup season. The Netherlands go 2-3-4. Leardham silver, Voskamp the bronze, Schulting finishing 4th with a sub-38. Erin Jackson of the United States 6th, Kimmy Getz of the U.S. 10th, and Brittany Bowe of the United States finishing 16th. Tiana 13th place finish on her home ice here in Beijing. So there are the updated standings. Tech 60 more points for Yukino Yoshida. She's 27 points clear of the field. Voskamp on a podium for the second straight 500. Silver last Sunday, bronze today in Beijing. Erin Jackson 3rd, Kimmy gets 5th, and Suzanne Schulting top 10 appearance right now, sitting 8th. Well, we apologize for some early technical difficulties. We are on the air. Everything is ironed out. Special weekend here in Beijing as the elite of the world of speed skating return to the ice ribbon. Just 3 years ago, the National Speed Skating Oval was constructed for the Olympic Winter Games. Several of those Olympic champions have walked back in the doors today as the ISU's second World Cup stop comes to China. So we have just seen Aaron Jackson. We will see Miho Takagi. We'll see Gao Tingyu, Kjeld Naus, Bart Swings. They all were Olympic champions here in Beijing. But the next Olympic moment, just over a year away, and new faces on the rise, as we just saw once again from Yukino Yoshida. But also that means Jordan Stoltz of the United States. He was still in high school during the Beijing Games. Stoltz has swiftly anchored himself as the new international star of the speed skating world. Just 20 years old, 7-time world champion, world record holder, and positioned himself for a bounty in Milano Cortina. He's ripped off 12 straight World Cup victories, including 4 last week in Nagano, and primed to do it all over again this weekend in Beijing. We'll see him in both 500s, the 1,000 and the 1,500. We welcome you to ISU's coverage of World Cup Beijing. Speed skating greetings to all watching in North America on Peacock and around the world on the ISU's YouTube page. Patrick Keane is with you, and boy, what a scintillating start once again. Yukino Yoshida delivers gold for the second time in 8 days at the World Cup level. And not to be lost in the initial results, Suzanne Schulting, a 4th place finish, goes below 38 seconds. And now we get ready for the first offering of the men's 500 meter here in Beijing. Great look at the ice ribbon. National Speed Skating Oval, capacity upwards of 12,000 as we get a look at the men's 500 meter standings. 60 points for each win. Stoltz has not lost since early December of last year in a World Cup event. We will see Jordan Stoltz in the final pairing. And there's the Stoltz at the bottom. Stefan Westenbroek of the Netherlands will oppose him. Dubreuil coming back from a bit of a groin injury that he suffered on Sunday in Nagano, but he is still right now scheduled in pair 9. So we open things up in the opening pair of the men's 500. Cho Sang-yuk, representing Korea, world junior champion, silver medalist in the 1,000 a few years ago, and Yuma Murakami, 31-year-old from Japan. He was an Olympian representing Japan right on this ice, finished 8th in the 500 meter. This is his first World Cup event of the season. Cho, meanwhile, out of the B division last week, finished 3rd in the B division on Sunday. So off we go, the first of 10 pairs in the men's 500. Cho was pretty slow off the line of his 2 races last week, and he replicates that in 9.93. Murakami goes out in 9.54. A couple of World Cup wins of this distance for Murakami a couple of years ago. And Cho winds him up on the inner. He will finish there. Murakami on the inner. And Cho trying to make a late hard charge. The stretch, and it will belong to Cho, 35-16. Overcoming the slow start. So Cho wins the opening pair. We'll see 5 skaters from Japan in this men's 500 here on this opening day in Beijing. Murakami just wraps things up at the 35-17. We'll see Yamato Matsui coming up here in pair 2. Zhao Yan-kun representing Canada. Interesting story behind him last week. Here's a look at Matsui, personal best of 34.04. And there is Zhao on the left for Canada. His mom long track speed skater, then a coach with Team Canada. And actually, when Zhao was about 6 years of age, his mom was coaching even a Blondine. And they then paired up last week. No longer 6 years old, Zhao, and still kicking his Blondine in the sport. And they got on the podium in the mixed relay last week. Blondine was recalling on social media during the week in between Nagano and here in Beijing that she remembered Yankun Zhao just kind of roaming around the ice as a youngster as Blondine was training with her Canadian teammates. And it's a really neat moment for her to be on the podium and be part of Zhao's first ever World Cup medal. Second pair of 10. Zhao will complete this 500 on the inner, the lead to Matsui. And Matsui goes under 35, 34.95. Zhao clicks in at 35.24. Zhao came out of the B division from last week as well, finished second on Sunday. So he's up in the A division for the first time. We'll see how his number holds up. And out of pair 3. Norway's Bjorn Magnussen, part of Norway's team sprint gold a couple of years ago. Magnussen's dad represented Norway in speed skating years ago, and Damian Zurek from Poland. Zurek bronze in the world single distance 500 a year ago. Did not crack the top 10 last week. Zurek a pair of 13th place finishes. Opener 9.72 to Magnussen. That's his fastest of the season. Zurich a 9.88. There's 2 events on the slate today, the 500s, then the 1500s. Tomorrow, the 1,000. The women will skate the 3,000. Men will skate the 5,000. Zurich and Magnussen to the line, and Zurich at 34.90. His best time of the 3 500 so far this World Cup campaign. We'll wrap things up on Sunday here in Beijing. The second offering of the 500 meters, the mass starts, and the team sprint. So a thinner schedule on Sunday compared to what we saw last week in Nagano. Zurich right now your leader after 3 pairs. So China's only entrance in this men's 500 meter on this opening day. There's a look at Sebastian Dennis from the Netherlands. Came out of the B division last Friday and finished 7th last Sunday. And here is the Olympic champion, Gao Qingyu. Big ovation. Well deserved. Injuries ever since he claimed gold here in Beijing at the Olympics a couple of years ago, fighting his way back. Saw him last week in the 500s, finish 11th and 15th. Track record holder of 34.32. See if he can get a little bit closer to form here today. We'll tell first off on the opening 100 meters there for Gao on the left of your screen coming right at you. He was 9.58, 9.82 last week. It goes 9.59 here on the opening day in Beijing, matching Dennis's time. $34.90 is Damian Zurich's time. Gao on the inner, trying to hang on to the lead, but now Dennis will pass him in the last 15 meters, finished 34.79, and that is your new top time. Gao 34.95. But for Gao, stepping stones, he did not break 35 seconds last week. So incremental progress there for Gao. And Dennis 34.79. That's just off of a personal best for him. So now to pair 5. Third of the 5 representatives of Japan. Katsuhiro Koratsubo and Martin Leev representing Estonia. A few years ago went to the Netherlands to train in the kingdom with the top skaters in the world. Leev an 8th place finish on Sunday after being elevated from the B division last Friday. Quick on the false starts. Charge to Karatsubo. It's a little flinch, it appeared, with that left hand. Finished 9th and 11th last week. Tied in the first 100 meters, 9.73 apiece. But off the pace set by Dennis, 34.79 his time. Leave a move around that final curve, and he's going to win the pair. We'll check the time for Leave. Yeah, 34.73. 34.73 for Leave. So he is your new leader. A low 5 with his coach as he glides by. Let's see, 35.15 right now, 7th. Well, it wasn't on the opener for Leave. It was 9.73, which is bottom third of the skaters we've seen so far, but ramped it up, found some speed, and maintained pretty good technique on the way home. So halfway home in the men's 500. So there's Wataru Morishige. A couple of top 10 finishes last week, but he won 4 500 meters last year. There's Marek Kania from Poland. Neither of these skaters all that quick in their openers last week. They sat in the mid 9.8s. See if we notice any improvement from these two. Because of the success that Morishige had last year early in the World Cup season, he finished the year as the top ranked in this classification. And their times, again, just at the 9.8. Morishige, 9.76. Once Jordan Stoltz came onto the scene, Morishige was booted from the top of the podium by the then teenage American. Swinging a little bit wide. Kanya straightens out close to the finish, and it looks like it's going to be Kanya winning the pair, 34-84. Morishige 34-90. But neither good enough to take leave off the top for the moment. 4 pairs to go. So Kanya 34-84. Just a tad slower than what he was last Friday. So they clear the ice, 4 pairs remaining. And starting on the hitter, Kim Jun-hoo, the 29-year-old from Korea. Top 5 finish last Friday. Fastest off of the line in the opener last Friday as well at a 9.52. So there's Kim on the right, and there's Cooper McLeod from the United States. Won his first World Cup individual medal, bronze in the 1,000 last week. He won the B division in the 500 last Friday, then had a great race and a 5th place finish on Sunday at this distance. And another little muscle twitch. This one charged against McLeod of the U.S. Yeah, confidence growing quickly for McLeod. It's not been easy to get to this level for this American, but now he's reaping the rewards in the last couple of weeks. Fair start. McLeod and Kim. Kim is expected to go out faster in the opening 100, and he will at 9.54. But that's a really nice time for McLeod, 9.69. And we'll see if McLeod can capitalize on that. There's the draft. McLeod locked in. He'll come around the curve. There's a look at Kim as McLeod cuts the corner well, driving for home, and he's going to win this pair. 34-73 to beat, and he has. How about that? 34-58 for Cooper McLeod, and a huge reaction from the American. His personal best is 34-24, but this is a great tie for Cooper McLeod. They talk about, just how far he's come the last couple of years. But it started at 4 continents a couple of weeks ago, then a couple of big races, got on a podium for the first time last week. Had a 5th place finish in the A division, the 500 on Sunday, and boy, that momentum carries over today. That was a great technical race by McLeod. 34-58. It began with the opener at 9.69 for Cooper. So 3 pairs to go. McLeod might have a shot at a podium here. So now pair 8. Solid pair here. Jenny de Boo, 20-year-old from the Netherlands. World Silver Sprint Championship last year. And Tatsuya Shinahama On the podium twice last week, bronze on Friday, silver on Sunday in the 500. And he will be very quick off the line. I mean, if he comes off in 9.55, 9.6, he'll have a chance. Jordan Stoltz will be in the final pair. This is pair 8. So let's check the opening 100 for Shin Hama on the bottom of your screen, and he is 9.47. Saying he has a real chance was an understatement based on that opener. Now can he take it to the line? He'll finish on the eater. There's Debu. Shin Hama, how will he handle this corner? Swings a little bit wide, may have lost a little time. Now Debu coming through, and Debu is going to take the pair, and he goes 34-39. Shin Hama 34-44. Yenny Debu, a huge finish. 34-39 for Debu. That's about 1,800s off of his all-time personal best. Shin Hama 34-44. So they are top two. That shuffles McLeod down to third, and with Stoltz still waiting to go a couple of pairs from now, McLeod is probably thinking there's no podium in the 500 for me despite a great time. But that is going to be an interesting time for Stoltz to figure out, who has won 12 consecutive World Cup races. But now the penultimate 500 pair. Laurent Dubray, silver behind Stoltz on Friday in Nagano, fourth on Sunday, but had to deal with a slight groin injury at the start of Sunday's race. We'll see how he looks physically. And Marin Shepperkamp took bronze on Sunday. 34-39, the time to beat for Debu. Oh, and you see Dubray, I mean, he can barely come off the line. Talk about the groin injury that he suffered on Sunday. He is out there, but simply just trying to pick up some classification points, it appears. So this is all Shepperkamp on this one. Shepperkamp goes out in 9.71. He'll need a big full lap, as you see far in the background is Dubray. Right now to get on the podium, even with Stoltz coming up, 34.58, the time to beat for Cooper McLeod, who's right now third, and Shepperkamp won't get there, 34.80. So Dubray clearly knew he could not go, and he will exercise his way to the line and just finish the race. 46-48 for Dubray. Well, that is tough to see. Well, this is the final World Cup event for about, a month and a half, so hopefully Dubray will have enough chance to go home and get the treatment he needs, the rest he needs to get the groin back to 100% so he can finish off the World Cup season and the World Championships where he wants to be. That is a tough injury from which to recover in a short time period. So now to the final pair. Jordan Stoltz of the United States, Stefan Westenbroek of the Netherlands. So there's Stoltz. Gold last week in both 500s and the 1,000 and the 1,500. He has won 12 consecutive World Cup events, but he was pushed a little bit. He really had to earn it last week. At a 34.43 and a 34.41. If he replicates those times, that would not be fast enough to take down Yenny Debu. But champions find ways to find the time they need. This won't come easy, though, for Stoltz. Westenbroek also a 9.65, so he'll get a tight draft here from Stoltz. But Jordan will finish in the outer. Comes around the final curve. He is known for his final 100 meters or so. Vestenbrook right on his heels. Stoltz knows what he needs. He needs to beat 34-39 to keep the streak alive, and he does it again. A baker's dozen for Jordan Stoltz. 34-27. It's 13 straight World Cup golds for the Wisconsin American Jordan Stoltz. The world keeps coming after Stoltz and putting down good time after solid time, and Stoltz keeps undercutting him. A track record for Stoltz of 34-27, 13 straight World Cup individual golds for Jordan Stoltz. Debut the silver, Shinhama on the podium again with another bronze. And when you watched Stoltz over the first couple of World Cup events, you know, the 2 golds last week in the 500, the gold here today. I mean, the competitors have thrown down solid times. Stoltz has not been able to coast to any of these wins. Pressure was on after the big time thrown down by both Debut and Shinhama. And Stoltz with his opener, no faster than what he was last week, but again, it was a big last lap by Jordan Stoltz. Stoltz's final lap after his 9.65 opener was 24.68. I would take it back, 24.62 for Stoltz on that last lap. So Stoltz, Debut, Shinhama, gold, silver, bronze. Gao, the Olympic champion, finishes in a 13th place tie. Well, Stoltz is scheduled, just as he was in Nagano last week, to race in all 4 of these sprint individual events. The 500 twice, the 1,000, the 1,500. He admitted he was a bit fatigued even going into his race on Saturday before another 500 title on Sunday for Jordan Stoltz. We'll see how his body holds up again. There's the U.S. coaching staff. Familiar refrain for Jordan Stoltz. Another win. So that's the first half of this day 1 program complete. They will resurface the ice. We will have the award ceremony. You can tap into that on this broadcast. And we'll come back in about 15 minutes time with the women's running of the 1,500 meter. The men will follow, and that will close down day 1 in Beijing. So stay tuned. More ISU World Cup speed skating coming up from Beijing. The 1,500 meters when we return about 15 minutes from now. Don't go anywhere.
战女子500米 A 组颁奖仪式正式开始。
ISU Council Member Mr. Sergio Anasi will present medals. Deputy Director General Beijing Municipal Bureau of Sports Mr. Ge Jun will present prizes.
接下来将由国际滑联理事塞尔吉奥·恩内西先生颁发奖牌，由组委会执行副主任、北京市体育局副局长葛军先生颁发纪念品。
Bronze medalist representing Netherlands.
红牌获得者来自荷兰。
Dion Bosken.
女士们、先生们，2024至2025赛季国际滑联速度滑冰世界杯北京站男子500米 A 组颁奖仪式正式开始。
ISU Council Member Mr. Sergio Anderson will present medals. Chief Executive of the Nation's Speed Skating Novo Operation Company Limited, Ms. Jing Yan, will present prizes.
接下来将由国际滑联理事塞尔吉奥·安利西先生颁发奖牌，由北京国家速滑馆经营有限责任公司党组织书记、董事长金岩女士颁发纪念品。
Bronze medalist representing Japan,
铜牌获得者来自日本。
Tatsuya Shihama. Silver medalist representing Netherlands,
银牌获得者来自荷兰。
Jenny Tabu. Golden medalist representing USA,
金牌获得者来自美国。
Jonas Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen, our congratulations for the ISU World Cup winner and the medalists.
女士们、先生们，让我们一起祝贺2024至2025赛季国际滑联速度滑冰世界杯北京站的冠军和所有获奖运动员。
Back to Beijing as we continue on day one coverage of ISU World Cup Beijing. Now ready for the draw of the 1500 meter for the women. And we'll see some legends in this race and some young up and comers. In the opening pair, we will see Martina Sablikova, one of the absolute legends of women's speed skating, 37 years of age. Participated in 5 different Olympic Games dating back to 2006. And so far culminating through Beijing on this ice, 16-time world single distance champion, 10 times at the 5,000.
Ina Lane representing Japan,
第一组内道日本。
Ayana Seto.
Ayana Sato will oppose Sablikova here in this opening pair. 7-time Olympic medalist.
外道捷克。
Martina
So Sablikova up out of the B division from last week, finished third. Five-time world all-around champ, three-time Olympic champion. Just keeps on churning. So Sablikova and Seto here in the opening pair. See Francesca Lollobrigida coming up in the next pair. Kimi Getz of the United States in pair 3. The 17-year-old Angel Dalaman from the Netherlands in pair 7 against Gronewoud. Brittany Bowe will be in pair 8. Miho Takagi in pair 9, and then Joy Bune and Evgeny Blondin in the final pair. Solid field, top to bottom. Sablikova, 26.52, her opening 300 meters. Seto, 25.69. First full lap, you see the numbers 29 low for Seto, 29.69 for Sablikova, who again is much more a 3,000, 5,000 meter specialist. Two-time Olympic champion at the 5,000 meters. But now we'll see how flat these times are, lap over lap. Seto 31.1. Sablikova generally a little bit flatter in terms of the pacing of all the laps. Takes her a while to get ramped up. And that was barely a little less than a half-second change from full lap to full lap for Sablikova. No surprise. Sablikova coming to the line. We'll check the time. 157.64, closes in 31.1. You see the disparity there, 32, nearly 32.8 for Seto, 31.1 for Sablikova. So 157.64 for Sablikova. Last week, the winning time for Takagi was 155.02. We saw the women and men's 500-meter times flash a little bit faster this week than what they were in Nagano. But Sablikova clearly content with the time. And out of the second of the 10 pairs. Caitlin McGregor right there, the 30-year-old from Switzerland, 16th last week. And here is the three-time Olympian, Francesca Lollobrigida, who is back full-time on the World Cup circuit. Returned last year after taking a year off to give birth to a son. Three-time Olympic silver medalist. On this ice a couple of years ago, Lollobrigida silver in the 3,000, bronze in the mass starts. Her first Olympic Games were in Sochi in 2014. Sochi, Pyeongchang, and Beijing right here on the ice ribbon. Lollobrigida wanted to become a mom and also wanted to skate on her country's ice in the 2026 Winter Olympic Games, and she likely will accomplish both. Already has become a mother and has her eyes now fixed on the games in 2026. Lollobrigida, 33 years old. Check the first full lap time. Just a hair below 29 for McGregor, 29.2 for Lollobrigida. Now going back to last week on Saturday in Nagano, Lola Brigida had the fastest final full lap of any of the competitors at 31.2. Faster than Blondine, faster than Bjorn, even faster than Takagi. So check Lola Brigida here, 30.86. And she was 31.2 in her final lap last week. So if that holds up, Lola Brigida is going to have a chance to win this pair and put down a pretty good time. So McGregor will finish in the outer. Lola Brigida, you can see her pick up some speed. A nice navigation of that curve, and now Lola Brigida driving home, and we'll check the time for Francisca Lola Brigida. 1:58.11. That will not take down Sablikova. 1:58.11, 31.86, so about 6/10 slower than her last lap last week. McGregor 1:59.09, about a second and a half off the early pace. So now pair three. Momoko Horikawa, 21-year-old from Japan. 14th place finish last week at the 1,500-meter distance. It's the personal best, 1:55.4. There's Kimi Getz from the United States. She was on the podium last week in the Sunday version of the 500-meter, claiming bronze. Getz finished 15th in the 1,500 last week. So Getz will break out for the U.S. in the outer. Horikawa. It's had a very solid World Cup campaign last year. Winning gold in the 1,000 at Salt Lake City. She's on several podiums for the U.S. See how she fares today in the 1,500. Getz opening up a bit of a gap. 29.27 for Getz on her first full lap. Horikawa 29.5. Only other American here in the 1,500 will be Brittany Bowe, coming up in pair 8. Now Getz on her second full lap, 31.33. And when you go back to what happened last week for Kimi Getz, of all of the last laps of the competitors in the A division, her last lap was the slowest at 34 flats. She had a drop off of about 3.5 seconds, hitting the wall on that last lap. See how she handles this final corner. She looks to be laboring again. Horikawa will win this pair at 1:58.33, and that last lap for Getz, not quite 34, but 33.14 is not where she wanted to be. So Getz right now 6th of the 6 in the first 3 pairs. Sablikova still on top with her 1:57.6. And now for pair 4. Morozova from Kazakhstan. Right there, she's had a busy day already. Won the B division of the 500 meter a couple of hours ago. Olympian from Kazakhstan who won the B division last week in the 1500 to get her into this A division draw. And here's Ragnhild Viklund, 24-year-old from Norway. Look at inside the kind of under the hood for Sablikova's numbers. 29.6 first full lap, then 30.2, 31.1. That's the flatness you're looking for in these longer distance races. This is kind of the intermediate, the 1500. But certainly a 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. That's just looking for that metronomic approach. 26.01, the opening 300 meters for Viklund. Morozova out quickly. 28.52, still in front. Viklund at 28.6. There you see the numbers, the black 8, red 6 for the 28.6 on that first full lap. That's how the information is conveyed from the coaches to the skaters on what their pace is at this stage of the race. Morozova, second lap clicks in at 30.5, 36.8 for Viklund. They're still both ahead of Sablikova's pace. But now this will be the true test because, again, Sablikova only fell off by 9/10 from the second to third full lap. You go back to last week, each of these two skaters fell off by about 2 seconds. So they can trim that back. They'll have a chance to maintain their advantage here. We'll see how the clock looks. 157.64 for Sablikova. And she will be knocked off. A 31.19 finish for Viklund. That is a terrific last lap for Viklund. To check the numbers, I don't know if there was a negative split, but it was awfully close. Yeah, she was 30.6 and then finished 31.1, so just a half-second spread. That is what gets Viklund right now at the top. 157.24 her official time. And Morozova noses ahead of Sablikova. She's now third. So Melissa Whitefield out of the Netherlands will start in the inner. And from Belgium, Isabel van Elst. Van Elst set her personal best earlier this calendar year, 156.9. At 31.1, Viklund is put down in the last lap, matched what Sablikova did on her last lap. Viklund much quicker on the opening 700 meters than Sablikova was. $26.5 for Whitefield. Van Elst 25.85. Van Elst, both hands behind her back. Wakefield with one. And Van Elst, 54-82 at the 700-meter split. Van Elst trying to conserve as much as she can. Beginning to pick up some ground, though. 4/10 on that last lap. Well, now we'll see how the final lap compares. Again, it's 31-1 for Weekland a moment ago. And Van Elst or even Whitefield overcome that here. Final corner. Whitefield on the left, she's going to win this pair. Will it be quick enough? It will not. A 32-0 in that final lap for Whitefield, 33 for Van Elst. That's what took her out of contention. 158.16 for Whitefield. So Weekland still on top halfway through the 1,500-meter draw. Out of pair 6. One of 2 representatives we will see from China on their Beijing ice in this 1,500. There's Valerie Malte, from 34-year-old from Canada. Top 10 finish last week in the 15. And Yang Binyu. Partisan crowd, as you might expect. Those ovations will only grow louder and louder over the course of the weekend. This is day 1 in Beijing. Yang Binyu, 22 years old. Finished 10th in the A division last week. And Yang out abruptly here in the opening 300. We'll check her time across the line. 26 flat. Fans impressed. There you see the number, thumbs up also from the coaches. Yang spins by. Tight draft for Malte. Yang shifts to the inner. This is about what Yang went out last week. It was 28.6 on this opening lap. 0.2 faster than last week. Malte 28.77. So Yang still ahead of the pace. Technique there by Yang Binyu. 1 lap to go across the line. Here she comes. 30.1 on that lap. That's a little bit better than she was last week as well. So improvement across the board so far by Yang. Can she bring it home here in this final lap? She'll finish the crossover and finish this race on the inner. Malte gasping a little bit behind her. Here comes Yang. Handles the curve. Yang will own this pair. The leader is 157.24. This will be close. And she has it, 156.98 for Yang Binyu. I'll tell you, 158.55. Crowd certainly helped. I'm very appreciative of the effort. So Yang Binyu right now top of the charts with 4 pairs remaining. 1.2 seconds off of her personal best. They still have Gronevud, Bo, Takagi, Han, Diuna, and Blondine still waiting to race. Big names in this 1500. And here is one of them with Gronevud. Disappointing 7th place finish in this event last week, but did close out by picking up a gold and just a brilliant tactical finish in the mass starts against Blondine last week. And one of the young risers in the sport from the Netherlands, Angel Daleman. Youngest world junior champion ever when she was just under 16 years of age a couple of years ago. So you have the established Gronevud and the up-and-comer Daleman. Daleman in the red armband on the left side of your screen. They both were inside the top 8 last week. Daleman generally is going to go out a little bit harder in the opening 300 meters. We'll check her time versus Gronevud. And yeah, out by almost a full second. That's coaching staff with their hands full. Pair of skaters in the same pair. Daleman's first full lap, 28.4. Gronevud, 28.88. So both a tick slower than they were last week. I think they want to see a little more sense of urgency here in this middle lap. There's the 17-year-old. Daleman leading the way on the outer, coming to the 1,100-meter splits. And she is faster now. They did get a good pickup of speed, each of them on that middle lap compared to last week. Both below 30 seconds now. What do they have left in the tank? Daleman on the right side of your screen in the red. Gronevud in the white armband on the left. Now Daleman last week closed in 32.9, which was very slow. Gronevud was very sharp. Daleman, though, trying to hold on. Here comes Gronevud, and Daleman is going to get there. Finishes in 31.45. That's a 1:55.41. So the tactics clearly different for Daleman. Did go out hard. Seemed to hold back on that first full lap and did have some gas in the tank for the last two. And executed perfectly. And the 17-year-old at the top. Personal best, 1:55.41 by almost 3/10. Gronevud right now second. Yang down to third. Yeah, Daleman last week, final lap was 32.9. She goes 31.4 today. She was quicker in the middle lap as well by almost a half second. So that's where the time was made up. So 3 pairs left. And there is Antoinette de Jong, 4th place finish last week in the 1500. De Jong 29, and Brittany Bowe, the venerable American. 36 years old. Bronze in the 1,000 last week in Nagano against a very good field. So Bowe on the left, de Jong on the right. And the 17-year-old Dalaman of the Netherlands. A personal best leading time right now, 155.41. And again, Takagi won it last week in 155.0. So that's a formidable time from Dalaman. Bo, as she did last week, goes out quickly. 25.4, De Young 25.46. Swings a little bit wide, comes out of that curve. 28.3 for Bo. About a third of a second slower than her opening lap last week, but again, it might be just a change in strategy, as we saw from Dalaman and the Dutch team one pair earlier. Worked out very well for Dalaman. It's a matter of where you are expending your energy. Is it early? Is it middle? Is it late? It's a big switch for Dalaman. 30.1 for De Jong, 30.4 for Bo, and out of the final lap, they will need to be in the high 30s on this last lap to take down Dalaman. There is De Jong finishing in the outer, Bo on the inner. And laboring a bit to the finish, De Jong at 155.69. Yeah, they were 31.5, 32.0. Needed to be in that 30.9 range. So two pair remaining. Dalaman still on top. De Jong right now third, Bo fourth overall with four skaters remaining. Well, now is where the names really get large here at this 1,500 meter distance. Miho Takagi claimed gold last week over Han. Won the 1,000 as well. Takagi, world champion, sprint champion, single distance champion, the 1,000, 1,500. Han, meanwhile, is her training partner, representing two different countries. Takagi with Japan, Han Mei representing China, but these are very, very good friends. Han just has not quite been able to get over the hump to beat Takagi in a race like this, but she's getting closer. She finished silver to Takagi last week in the 1,500. Maybe this is her time. When they are not racing in the same pair, they are rooting each other on from the infield when they can, when they don't have to focus on their upcoming race. This has to be fun, yet probably filled with anxiety when you're racing against your training partner, your very good friend in the same pair. But right now, they're just competitors in between the lines. Takagi goes out in 25 low, Han 25.5. Now, Han had the fastest full lap of any of the competitors last week in 27.9. We'll see if she tests out that same strategy here. She's picking up some ground here on Takagi. And this lap should be pretty good for Han Mei. Takagi still in the lead. Han goes 28.1. Takagi 28.4. But this is where consistency and that metronome style of Takagi pays off. She's generally fairly flat coming home these last two full laps of the 15. So Takagi looks under control. One lap to go. Takagi goes 29.6 and picks up a half second on Han. And Takagi in very good shape. Coaching staff exhorting her along. 200 meters to go. Takagi out of the final curve. Again, Dalaman's time, 1:55.41. That was a personal best for her. And here comes Takagi down the home straight. 1:55.41 to beat, and she does it handily. 1:55.07 for Takagi. Han right now in 5th with 1 pair to go. So that will knock Dalaman to 2nd. And Takagi 28.4, 29.6, 31.8 her final 3 laps. So Takagi trying to pick up another gold in the women's 1,500 meter, just as she did almost every time out last year. All the 1,500 she raced, she claimed. So 1 pair left. Takagi again on top. Dalaman right now 2nd. Gronevud 3rd. Well, this is a formidable pair. Joy Bune, 25-year-old from the Netherlands, the world all-around champ from last year. And Ivani Blondin of Canada, who basically races any event possible. We'll see another full slate for Blondin this week. The 500, the 1,000, the 1,500, the 3,000, the mass start, the team sprint. She'll be everywhere. She won the 3,000 last week. So bronze in the mixed, silver in the mass. And she is in the final pair with Joy Bune. He was just kind of rounding back into form from the Dutch Nationals. Was under the weather over the couple of weeks in and out of the Dutch Nationals. We did see Bune get on the podium in the 3,000 meters of bronze. Also bronze the 1,500 last week. Blondin 25.99 going out in the first 300. A little bit of a shave by the Dutch head coach in the number. Bune went out in, 26.1. Coach Flash 26.0. Maybe helping her psyche. Blondin at 28.3. Bune at 28.46. There's the 28.3 for Blondin's time. So now the middle lap, and this was the fastest lap of any skater in last week's 1,500 for Blondin. 29.7 was faster than everybody. But she fell off by 1.9 coming home. We'll check Blondin's lap time here. Maybe 30.0. Bune picks up about 6/10. So now to the final lap. Again, Takagi's final lap was 31.8. And Takagi looks to be in pretty good shape here. So Bune finishing in the outer. Hairpinning through that final curve. Blondin fading a bit. 1:55.07 the time to beat. Bune just missed it. 1:55.19. It'll be silver for Bune. Gold again for Miho Takagi. And the 17-year-old from the Netherlands, Angel Dalaman, will be on the podium winning bronze. So there is a look at Dalaman. Yes, a big Dutch contingent at the top of the leaderboard. Takagi wins gold, but silver, bronze, 4th, and 5th are all from the kingdom. Bune and Dalaman will be on the podium. Gronevud finishes 4th, De Jong 5th. So Miho Takagi at it again. 1:55.07. Great race though from Dalaman. Personal best 1:55.41. She was atop the leaderboard with a couple of pairs to go, and will win bronze here in Beijing. So the cool down period for the medalists here in Beijing. That's Akagi, just a measure of consistency. And then you see kind of the strategic shift with the teenager from the Netherlands. It worked very well here in Beijing in this 1500. An 8th place finish last week to a podium finish this week. Takagi wins gold, and there you see the 4 Dutch flags in a row. Bune, Daleman, Gronewood, and De Jong finishing 2 through 5. Brittany Bowe of the U.S., a 7th place finish. Han Mei, Takagi's training partner, 6th. Yang Binyu, 9th. And there you see the rest of the field. So Takagi continues a perfect start. Gold in the 1500, the 4 continents, and then at Choe City a couple of weeks ago. Gold last week in the 1500 and the 1000 in Nagano, and gold in her first events here in Beijing in the 1500. So stay tuned. Men's field, the 1500 meter, will close out the day 1 slate. Stay tuned. All right, moments away from the men's 1500 meter here in Beijing. There you get a look at the pairings. A lot of big names in this field as well. Kjell Naus, the world record holder, holds the track record here as well. Jordan Stolz will aim for a 14th straight World Cup individual title. He will be in pair 9. Sander Eitram saw a great effort from him last week. 22-year-old from Norway will be in the final pair. So skaters getting ready. Last events of the day. Again, tomorrow, day 2 here in Beijing, the 1,000 meters, the women's 3,000, and the men's 5K. First skaters out of pair 1 head to the line. Simon Snell, 26-year-old from the Netherlands. And from Germany, Moritz Klein. Came out of the B division last week, third place finish. And promoted to the A division here today. Early encouragement from the coaches as Lane and Snell come around that first corner. You see Bard swings. He'll be in pair 5. Connor Howe of Canada in pair 7. Now it's against Ning. That'll be a good one. Pair 8. Stoltz will be in 9 for the U.S. And then it's Nanamura and Eitram in pair 10. That's the breakdown of this 1,500-meter draw. And away we go now here in the men's 1,500-meter. First full lap time, 25.9s for both Snell and Klein. Snell pushing it ahead on the right side of your screen. And 7.5 for Klein. And into now the final lap. Klein's personal best 1:44.5. Snell's 1:45.1. And to the finish, Klein is going to get there first. It's 1:46.41. 1:46.48 for Snell. So the first pairing in the books. 1:46.41 for Moritz Klein. Let's look at Moritz, still in search of his first World Cup podium. Two from the Netherlands here in pair 2. Prince and Venemars. There's Tim Prinz, former world junior champion in the 1,500. Venemars, a couple of years ago, the world junior overall champion. Go back to Salt Lake City last year. Prinz in the red armband on the left of your screen finished silver to Jordan Stoltz. His best overall finish last year. Capable, certainly, on that fast ice in Salt Lake. Venemars 23.1 going out. Prinz 23.53. Dutch will have 4 out of these 20 skaters on the men's side. We saw 4 of the top 5 in the women's 1,500 field a moment ago. Finished 2, 3, 4, and 5. And both under the early pace set by Klein. It's Prinz in front. Final lap, Prinz goes 26.8. About a second and a quarter ahead of where Klein was in his opening pair. Down the back straight. draft for Wenmars. Here comes Prinz. He'll finish in the inner. Healthy lead on Wenmars. And we'll check Prinz time, 1:45.62. So Joop Wenmars at 1:46.77. Likes that time, likes it a lot. 1:45.62 for Tim Prinz. Third pair of the 10, 28-year-old from Norway, Christian Uleklev. And from Canada, David LaRue, 26 years old, finished 15th last week. Uleklev was 14th. Couldn't quite hold it, could he? They both were a little bit wobbly in the upper body, but that is charged against LaRue. Clean start this time. LaRue on the left. Uleklev on the right. Now, LaRue last week did go out pretty hard. Sub-24 on the opening 300 meters. And again, you go week to week. What worked, what didn't. What will you change? He goes 23.9 in the first 300 meters here today. 24.54. Thumbs up again for Uleklev as he came by his coach on the side. Just wanted to pick up the tempo just a hair. The final lap, Uleklev picked up about a quarter second on LaRue. Uleklev still looking pretty good with his technique. Now LaRue barreling home on the inner. Uleklev fighting him off. He will win the pair in a time of 1:47.38. Fifth of the competitors so far. LaRue 1:47.75. So Prinz still best. Out of the fourth pair, we'll see a two-time Olympic medalist, Kim Min-suk, representing Hungary. He will start this race in the inner. Born in Korea, represents Hungary. He won the B division last week. It's like bronze the 1500 in Pyeongchang in 18, bronze in the 1500 on this ice 2 years ago, and here's Ryota Kojima. Kojima, 13th place finish last week. So Kim and Kojima, pair 4. So off we go. Kojima, 26 years old and left. Kim, 25, already veteran of 2 Olympic podiums. Kim in the colors of Hungary. This is the division you aspire to not only get into but remain. And again, he had to come out of the B division last week. Won the 1500 in the Bs and gets a shot now against everybody here in the A. So very important for him. Put up a nice time and cement his spots here in the A division top 20. 25-8 for both Kim and Kojima. There's a tight look at Kojima in the outer, Kim in the inner. One more lap to go. See how much of a drop off there is from lap to lap. 27 low for Kim. That's fairly flat. 27.3 for Kojima. To the last draft. There's a look at Kim In-suk through the final corner. Being pushed now by Kojima. But Kim, the first goal is achieved, winning his pair, and he closed. So Kim In-suk, 2100s behind Prinz. Right now, currently second. Kojima third. And now to pair number 5. Germany and Belgium. Stefan Emily, 28-year-old, finished 11th last week. And there's Bart Swings in the foreground. 2-time Olympian, gold medalist on this ice in the mass starts in Beijing. Silver in the mass in Pyeongchang. Both with top 12 finishes last week in the 1500. Well, one of the other big surprises from Nagano last week was not only the gold by Yoshida in the women's first run in the 500, but it was Timothy Lumino of France stealing away, sprinting away in the mass starts. The breakaway with about 4 laps to go, he was not caught. And Swings did not make the podium, which was a big surprise. Emily was on 23.9. That's right where he was last week on his opening 300. Each of these skaters still well off the pace right now, Prinz and Kim. You hear the screaming from the coaches across the ice. Not a big crowd in Beijing on this first day. Bit of a wayward stray though by Emily. 27-1 that lap, 27-3 for Swings. Still about a second and a half off is Emily. See the grimacing by Emily, hanging on in that final curve. swings will have no shot in this pair. Here's Emily. 145.65. Boy, he made that close. A 28.57 closing lap. 300s off of Prinz. Well, he needed a big lap, and he got it almost all the way back. He was almost a second and a half shy going into that last lap, but just shorts. Prinz closed in 29.9. Emily closes in 28.5, but Prinz still on top. Emily second, Kim third. But we are just halfway through the men's 1500. So out of pair 6. And all the competitors we will see from here on out. Top 10 last week in Nagano. Yamada finished 9th last week. And Didrik Strand from Norway broke into the top 10, finished 10th. He's only 19 years old. The one thing you do know about youngsters that we've seen over the first couple of weeks of this season, certainly Stalls in the category just turned 20, but Delman 17, Debut 20, Strand 19. There's a high ceiling for all of these skaters when they're not only competing in the A division, but they're on the podium in the A division. And in Jordan Stoltz's case, when you're dominating your sport in the A division. So the fact that Strand finished top 10 last week, curious to see kind of how his season progresses here. Can he follow that up with another top 10? Maybe take a big jump here today? We'll check him out. And he was 10th last week. Strand in the red skin suit goes 26.3 on his first full lap, same of Yamada. Strand, youngest in this entire field. Again, Stoltz just turned 20 a few months ago. Yamada still out in front. Second full lap, 27.4 Yamada, 27.8 Eng for Strand. So into the final corner, we'll see how Yamada and Strand look. 145.62 is Prinz's time. Yamada is going to win this pair, but he is going to be short of Prinz, who remains on top, 12 skaters deep. 5th place mark right now for Yamada, 146.26. Strand, 147.49. So that is going to put Strand 11th with 8 skaters to go after a 10th place finish last week. So no big jump for him this week in Beijing as we get to pair 7. Setsari Chinoe, 28-year-old from Japan, will start in the inner. Canada's Connor Howe will start in the outer. 5th on this ice in the Beijing Winter Olympics a couple of years ago in the 1500. Won gold with 4 continents. Not the one 2 weeks ago, but the one back in January. Howe, one of the faster starters last week in Nagano. We'll see if that strategy changes at all. Finished 8th overall. On the right side of your screen. Gail Naus, track record and a world record holder in this event, is waiting next. They both go low 24, so how noticeably more deliberate with his opening 300 meters this week. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It might just be kind of a redistribution of where you want your speed to be. He went 25.8 on his first lap last week. He goes 26.2, so that's about 0.4 slower as well. So maybe pulling it back in the front half of the race. We'll see if that changes here for Howe, or if it's just a tough day at the office. This middle lap will tell us what we need to know. He was 27.4 last week in the middle lap. Ichinohe crosses the line first, 27.3, so that's about flat lap over lap, week over week. So Howe still struggling a couple of seconds off the pace. Now he'll really need to tap the gas here. Ichinohe will finish in the outer, Howe in the inner. We'll see if Howe has anything to drive and push Ichinohe. Doesn't look like it. So Satoru Ichinohe will easily win this pair. 145.92, good for 4th overall. Howe 146.7 right now in 9th. So the speed just wasn't there today for Howe. Ichinohe right now 4th. 6 skaters to go. So that will assure a top 10 finish for Ichinohe after finishing 7th last week. But Prins still in front. And sure to get a big crowd ovation for the second competitor in this upcoming pair. I would imagine Gail Naus might get a nice ovation as well. He's had a lot of successes on this track. Track record holder, world record holder. Track record of 143.21 right here. Back in 2022 with the Winter Olympic Games. So there is the Olympic gold medalist. A generous ovation. Now you get a big one here from Ning Zhongyan. There you go. Even a little extra from the public address announcer. Gold at the World Sprint Championships for Ning. He won bronze last week in Nagano and now finished 4th. False start. Called back. Yeah, a lot of Olympic champions this weekend back in Beijing. Now it's won the 1500. Gao we saw in the 500. Bart Swings we saw a moment ago. He is the gold medalist here in Beijing in the mass start. Aaron Jackson, Takagi. False start on Ning. Well, Ning's strategy last week leading into the Nagano 1500, I mean, he's targeting Jordan Stolz. And he said after the race, the only way he felt he could win that race is by going out extraordinarily hard in the first 700 to 1,100 meters. Then he hit the wall, he said. But he did have the lead, and he pushed Stolz to win it in his final lap. Again, we'll talk tactics. Will it change this week for Ning? Now, when I say he went out hard, he went out 23.6 the opening 300, but then turning the fastest first lap and the fastest second lap of anybody, but then fell off badly in the final 400 meters. So we'll see how it plays out here today for Ning. Naus and Ning, the opening 300. Ning was 23.6, and he goes out in 23.5, so even a little bit faster, but Naus matches him and then some. So Ning and Naus going out even harder. Now we'll see how that carries into this first lap. They were both 25-3, 25-4 last week. If Ning is going after it again early, we'll see it on this first lap. He was 25-4 last week. Ning goes 25-2 this week. Now it's at 25-3. This is extraordinarily quick in the opening 700 meters. The draft to Naus. Ning last week in this middle lap was 26-6. Again, that was the fastest of all the competitors. Naus is going stride for stride with him. What will the numbers show this time? 26-5 and 26-6. All right, well, this is where Ning was last week. Naus is going off of an even better race. But now, what does Ning have left? Last week, he had basically nothing. He spent it all in the first 1,100 meters. To the final curve, Naus will finish in the outer. Ning making a move on the inner. And here comes Ning Zhongyang. He's driving. Both arms pushing toward the line. Ning to the line. Sets the table at 1:44.26. He finished in a 28.79, just about where he was last week. Now it's 1:45.05. So Ning again applies basically the same strategy than what we saw last week. And the time held up better at the back end in Beijing than it did in Nagano. And Naus puts up a really nice time also. But Ning had enough down the stretch out of this last corner. So 1:44.26 for Ning. Stolz won it last week at 1:43.65. But again, Ning throwing down some pressure on Stolz, who will be in this very next pair. So Naus right now second, Prins third. And there's a look at some oxygen being sucked in by Prins. Again, Prins was out of the second pair. So now the 13 race individual World Cup winning streak is on the high wire for Jordan Stolz. Peter Kongschwag, bronze the world single distance to the 1500 last year. Behind this young man, 20-year-old Jordan Stolz, who has already won gold earlier today in the 500. He swept all 4 World Cup golds last week in Nagano. He swept all 4 in Quebec at the end of last year, swept all 4 in Salt Lake. So he's 13 for 13. But again, a solid time thrown up by Ning for Stolz to beat. Now, when Stolz won gold last week, got off fairly quickly, had a good first lap, but it was the last lap that was the differentiator for Jordan Stolz. He went to finish faster than anybody at 27.6. But again, we'll compare the times against Ning, who went out very rapidly again. Ning went out in 23.54. Let's check Stolz. 23.43. Stolz undercuts him by a little more than a tenth. 23.9 for Kongschwag, who may not provide a whole lot of competition for Stolz if this race plays out as we expect. Ning was 25.2 on his first full lap. Let's see where Stolz checks in. 25.4. So Ning picked up 0.2 there. Stolz just off the pace. And there is C, 25.6. Stolz around the curve. Ning was 26.6 on this middle full lap. But again, Stolz doesn't necessarily have to be in front here because he is the closer. He goes 27.0. That's 0.4 off. Stolz, some work to do. 4,300 off the pace. But again, he had the fastest final lap, and he's getting a drop from Kongschwag, and he'll finish on the inner. Ning closed in 28.7. Stolz will need about a 28.3. Here comes Stolz. The time to beat is 1:44.26. Is there another gold? Is there a 14 straight for Stolz? Yes! He goes sub 144. 143.94 for Stoltz. And the last lap does do it again. 28 flats. Ning denied. Muttering, what else do I have to do to knock him off? That was a 28.05 last lap for Stoltz. He got a nice draft from Kongshog. And again, just the driving determination and force of this invincible 20-year-old. And Stoltz in front, one pair to go. 143.94, the track record 143.21, so off by about 3/4 of a second. But that is a big time. Naus now to third. And in this final pair, Japan's Taiyo Nonomura finished 5th last week. There's Nonomura. And Sander Eitram from Norway. He was silver behind Stoltz in the 15 last week. He had a great race. Surprised himself a bit, but his form has been getting better and better. He's known more as a distance guy, 5,000 meter, but he's been quickly improving in this 1,500 meter distance. But now he, in the final pair, knows what he has to beat. Stoltz is 143.94. Eitram on the left of your screen. A personal best for either of these two skaters would get it done. We'll check the open. The opening 324.34 for Eitram, so he's already almost a second off of the pace. Eitram did go out relatively slowly last week in the opening 300. He, like Stoltz, put together the fastest final lap. That's where Eitram really made up ground. But you don't want to cede that kind of territory to Stoltz in the opening 300. Goes 26.2, and he loses another 0.8 or so. Both of these skaters in this final pair are way off the pace. And this is the 400 meters where Eitram and Nonomura, they're going to have to carve into this big deficit like a Thanksgiving turkey to give themselves any chance at a podium, let alone taking down Stoltz. Eitram goes 26.9. He picks up a couple of hundreds on Stoltz, but nothing significant at all. So Eitram will draft off of Nonomura, and I think Stoltz right now can do the math. Because this is a near impossibility for Eitram out of the corner. He's putting together a nice last lap, 143.94. He will never get there, but is Eitram on the podium? He's not. And it's a 14th consecutive individual World Cup gold medal for Jordan Stoltz. The 500 earlier today, and now the 1,500 again. You see, Eitram has never really found his traction, a bit off balance in that final quarter. And Eitram will finish 5th. So Stoltz wins gold, Ning silver, Kjeld Naus bronze in the men's 1,500. You think it gets old for Stoltz? Not a chance. And a great finish, and good congratulations by coach and staff of the U.S. for Ning Zhangyan. Again, I'll tell you what, Ning and Debu and Shinhama, I mean, they are posting some times for Stoltz to beat. But he has exceeded the bar every time. And I feel like, Stoltz is only getting better. That's the scary part at the age of 20. Winning, and improving as he wins. And he's only 20. There are the final results. 14 straight for Stoltz. Ning a third of a second behind. Now it's a solid race, finishing on the podium for bronze. The two Norwegians, Kongshaug and Eitram, 4 and 5. And the second page. Swings finishing 17th, but he'll be a key man on day 3 in the mass start. So they will clean the ice, they will clear the ice, and that is it for day 1 of World Cup Beijing. Another double gold day for the American Jordan Stoltz, winning the 500 over Debu and winning the 1500 over Ning Zhang. Stay tuned. You can watch the medal ceremony coming up in a matter of moments. Day 2 from Beijing tomorrow will feature the 1,000 meter for the women and the men, the 3,000 meter for the women, the 5K for the men. And then on Sunday, the second offering of the 500 meters, the mass starts, and the team sprints from Beijing. We thank you for tuning in across North America and on the ISU's YouTube page. For everyone from the ISU, Patrick Keane is saying enjoy the starts of your weekend. Jordan Stoltz certainly will. Yoshida claims the women's 500 for the second time. Miha Takagi wins the 1500 again. We're underway in World Cup Beijing. See you tomorrow for day 2 from Beijing. So long, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Beijing, China, 2024 to 2025, 1,500 meters, Women Division A.
女士们、先生们，2024至2025赛季国际滑联速度滑冰世界杯北京站女子1500米 A 组颁奖仪式正式开始。
ISU Council Member Mr. Sergio Anasi will present medals. Chief Executive of the Nation Speed Skating Oval Celebration Company Limited, Ms. Jing Yan, will present prizes.
接下来将由国际滑联理事塞尔吉奥·安内西先生颁发奖牌，由北京国家速滑馆经营有限责任公司党总支书记、董事长金岩女士颁发纪念品。
Bronze medalist representing Netherlands.
铜牌获得者来自荷兰。
Angel Delman. Silver medalist representing Netherlands.
银牌获得者来自荷兰。
Joy Bernay.
Another medal right here.
Golden medalist World Cup Speed Skating Beijing, China, 2024 to 2025, 1,500 meters, Men Division A.
女士们、先生们，2024至2025赛季国际滑联速度滑冰世界杯北京站男子1500米 A 组颁奖仪式正式开始。
Deputy Director General of Beijing Municipal Bureau of Sports, Mr. Ge Jun, will present medals. ISU Council Member Mr. Sergio Anasi will present prizes.
接下来将由组委会执行副主任、北京市体育局副局长葛军先生颁发奖牌，由国际滑联理事塞尔吉奥·安内西先生颁发纪念品。
Bronze medalist representing Netherlands.
红牌获得者来自荷兰。
Yel Nuis.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Silver medalist representing China.
银牌获得者来自中国，叶中言。
Thank you.
Silver medalist representing USA.
金牌获得者来自美国，
Jordan Stowers. Ladies and gentlemen, our congratulations from ISU World Cup winner and medalist.
女士先生们，让我们一起祝贺2024至2025赛季国际滑联速度滑冰世界杯北京站冠军和所有获奖运动员。 哎，咱们现场的各位观众朋友们，幸运观众在中奖之后，到国家速滑馆的西门，可以借着自己的获奖的号码来兑奖。
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's competition. We hope you enjoy the races. Please take care, execute from the National Speed Skating Oval. And remember, you can stop if you need help should you require any assistance. We have more exciting prizes coming up tomorrow. Hope to see you again in Ice Ribbon and have a good day.
女士们、先生们。